Trucking Safety 101, Episode 4, Interstate versus Intrastate Commerce. Before applying a trucking regulation, a safety professional needs to answer a basic question. Is this operation interstate or intrastate? The words sound simple. Interstate means transportation connected to more than one state or country. Intrastate means transportation that stays entirely within one state and is not part of a larger movement entering or leaving that state. But here is the important part. The truck does not always have to cross a state line for a trip to be interstate commerce. Let's start with the easiest example. A truck picks up furniture in North Carolina and delivers it to Florida. The truck crosses a state line, so the transportation is interstate commerce. Now imagine a truck picks up freight in one North Carolina city and delivers it to another North Carolina city. The truck never leaves the state. That may look intrastate, but we need one more question. Where did the shipment begin, and where is it ultimately going? Suppose the freight arrived in North Carolina from another state and is temporarily stored at a warehouse before a local truck makes the final delivery. If that local delivery is part of the shipment's planned continuous movement from outside North Carolina, it may still be interstate commerce. The same principle can work in the other direction. A local truck may pick up freight and take it to a rail terminal, airport, or warehouse, where another carrier will continue the shipment to another state. Even though the first truck stays within North Carolina, its trip may be one part of an interstate movement. FMCSA guidance says the essential character of the movement depends on the shipper's fixed and persistent intent when the transportation begins. In plain language, we look at the shipment's planned journey, not only one truck's portion of it. That means a safety professional should review the facts, look at the bill of lading, shipping instructions, origin and destination, warehouse arrangements, and what the parties intended when the shipment started. Now compare that with a truly intrastate trip. A North Carolina supplier sells building materials from its local inventory to a North Carolina contractor. The order is filled locally. The delivery begins and ends in North Carolina, and it is not part of a planned movement to or from another state. That is generally intrastate commerce. Why does the distinction matter? Interstate motor carriers and drivers may be subject to applicable federal motor carrier safety regulations. A carrier operating only in intrastate commerce is generally governed by its state's rules. States may adopt federal rules, but state requirements, definitions, thresholds, and exceptions can differ. Intrastate does not mean unregulated. It means you must identify the correct state requirements instead of assuming that every federal rule applies in exactly the same way. There are also special situations, including hazardous materials and passenger transportation, that can involve additional requirements. When the facts are unclear, verify them with the appropriate federal or state agency before advising the carrier. Here is the 3-point recap. First, crossing a state line is a clear example of interstate commerce. Second, a trip that stays inside one state can still be interstate if it is part of a planned movement that began or will end outside the state. Third, determine the shipment's complete movement and original intent before deciding which rules apply. A good safety advisor does not begin by guessing at a regulation. They begin by understanding the operation. In the next episode, we will look at the motor carrier's basic safety responsibilities: qualified drivers, safe vehicles, controlled work hours, and accurate records.